Okay, so this is quite a popular thing to do actually, and it's called the never-ending story. Now all you need to do is you can keep the deck in order. I'm going to keep this deck in order. You don't have to keep the deck in order if you don't want to, but you're just going to turn a card and you're just going to start making a story. So once upon a time there was a boy who was about to walk off of a cliff. If you've got more than one person, say there's a group of you, you can literally take it in turns per card, just turning the card over and adding to the story. If you're just on your own, like I am, and you have no friends, like me, then you can just carry on and just continue yourself creating the story. He bumped into a magician called Liam. And then a woman came on the scene. If you get stuck and you really struggle, because this will be a struggle to begin with, then just skip the card. Just ignore it. Just pick another card. And then a man came along as well. And then another man came along, although I'm not sure if he was a man at all because he kind of looked like a woman. Not politically correct, but... And then an angel appeared before the whole of them and said, "Happy birthday to you." And then a lion came. And then one man looked and said, "Oh, what the heck is going on here?" He's just babbling to himself. You know, this is one of those things. This story is not going to make sense. It is literally called The Never-Ending Story. This is a game that you can play without even tarot cards, where one person starts the story and then they just continue on and on and on, different people adding. The point is to keep it fairly short and concise. So with this, what you're doing is you're starting to get used to weaving these cards together to form some sort of a story. Now this is going to be some crazy weird story that's not even going to make sense. But we're not at the stage at the moment where we're trying to get information out of the cards. What we're at the stage, you know, right now is you getting used to how cards interact with each other and things like that. So a lot of these exercises for now aren't going to be getting information or memorizing anything or anything like that. It's literally just getting you used to the connecting with the cards. If you get stuck at any point and you really struggle, then just stop the story and then turn another card and start another one. I was mixing cocktails. And then I think I had a little bit too much to drink. And the house caught fire. And then I had to run because my clothes were on fire naked out of the house. And all of the women down the street were going, "Woo!" And they all decided to take their clothes off and join me. Now, don't judge me. This is just a story, okay? And your story will be crazy as well. There we go, we had a wild party in the street where everyone took their clothes off. Who'd have known that a fire could start something like that off, you know? This is literally the never-ending story, because you could just go on and on and on and on. I don't know if there's a world record attempt at the never-ending story. You might have to Google that one. But literally, when you do get to the end of the card deck, you can just carry on because you can just flip the cards back over. In fact, when you do get to the end, I do recommend that you go through the entire deck at least twice. So see if you can make some really, really long story. Again, you can do this with a friend or you can do this with a family. You know, it doesn't really matter. If you, generally speaking, it might be a little bit more fun to see what people come up with. But at the same time, if you're bored one day and you are some sort of tarot master, this is still quite a fun one to do because some crazy things come out. And then eventually I visited my nan and I gave her some flowers. And then the house caught fire again. And all these flower pots, they were just everywhere. And the smoke was bellowing and all the flowers got burnt. And then I decided to run away in shame because I burnt the house down. And then I was feeling quite proud of myself afterwards, because at the end of the day, you know, I don't know. Why am I feeling proud of myself? Because a rainbow came along and it just cheered me up and made me happy. And then a fish started talking to me. This is some random rubbish. Now you'll notice, if you really think about your dreams and things like that, there's a lot of random rubbish that comes to you in dreams that might not necessarily mean anything. And, you know, we aren't quite tapping into symbology at the moment, but we're adding to the fact that you can start to weave stories together. And when it comes to tarot and using these cards to tell a story and get information, a lot of that is going to come through the archetypes within the cards, the stories and how they interact with each other. Now it might come in, you know, you might not be very good at doing that. So this is one of those things where we go through techniques like this, because it will get you to confidently state, no, this is what happens next. Now I know people that are good at tarot, but they second guess themselves constantly. So when they're with a client and, you know, some information's coming to them, they feel, oh, I shouldn't say that, is that right? They're second guessing themselves. But if you can go through and make an entire story up like this and confidently speak about what you're seeing in the card, that's what you have to do when it comes to starting with tarot. You have to be confident with that, because although it might not make a lot of sense to you, it will make sense to them. And these people very often, even if they are accomplished at tarot, they leave out information and things like that because they aren't that confident in really what images and stuff are coming to them. Sometimes you can just steamroll through a tarot read and just go on and on and on and on and on about all of this information. So there's lots of different higgledy-piggledy niggly bits that certain people struggle with. So each of these techniques are designed to help you master and stop these iggly-piggly things that you don't even know you'll have yet. Eventually, you will find things that you're weaker on. And if you've been taught other methods of learning tarot, there will be quite a lot of niggly things that you struggle with. But really, you know, starting from scratch and things like this, the never-ending story is one of those things that is quite a popular technique to really take things back to basics. So we'll end our story because I got very tired sitting in a chair surrounded by dogs whilst people were talking in the background, and then I started fantasizing about this really cool coin I found. It was back when I used to do a lot of horse riding, and then I gave it to my friend Mary, and Mary eventually grew up and she's still got it now. There we go. That is a rather rubbish, never-ending story. So that is the technique I want you to do. Do it a couple of times. Just go over and over and over again. You know, you don't have to just do it the once. You can do it loads of times. And you don't, if you get stuck and you maybe even get bored or something like that, then don't worry. You can, of course, come back to it and start a new story. If you get stuck and you really struggle and you get to the point where, what does that say, I don't know, I've lost the kind of flow, then just start a new story. Take a couple of seconds and then just start a new story. Remember, it's not a real story and it doesn't matter, you can't get it wrong, okay? There we go, go off and do it, and then go to the next video.